Alright, someone asked me to take a look at Nikki Reed, who apparently had a role in the Twilight films from a few years ago. This to me is looking like a little boy. Wide dental arch, quite a gap between the nose and the mouth, quite a thin upper lip, quite a gap between the eyes. You can't do too much looking at the face of a child, but the overall look to this person is not particularly female. Now, she's married to Ian Somerhalder, who does look like a biological male. Just because someone's married to a biological male, it doesn't make them female. I'm not sure if they're told who they're supposed to be with for a public image, or if they choose who they're with, but it does appear that there have been various kinds of pairings with some biological people put with transgenders as well as transgenders with transgenders. She's got completely straight legs, no female Q angle, just straight like a man. Loose shirt, so you can't really tell much about the body here, and the shoulders are angled away, so you can't really get a measurement of that. But she's got the same kind of lower legs as him, with the higher portion on the calf being what's more defined, because that's where the muscle is, and then this kind of thin portion at the ankle that you'll typically see on men who have a low level of body fat. Quite a definition in the knees as well. A lot of muscle on the legs. Quite a square jaw here. Also looking like we've got quite prominent collarbones. The shoulders here are looking very wide. Definitely could fit 3 head sizes on these shoulders. Eyes set far apart. Quite a big looking kind of rib cage overall. Now, pregnant photo with a totally defined jawline. Also seeing a bit of definition in the neck here. The arms are looking still very trim, quite bony looking shoulders. Shoulders looking quite square. So typically when women are pregnant, you see fat retention, especially in the face, in the arms, in the legs. You don't see it like this. Her shoulders don't look quite as broad as his do, but still looking a bit wide for a girl. And here the shoulders are definitely wider than the hips. These are totally straight male legs. Muscular calves, defined knees, bony ankles, totally straight looking torso under there. Looks like we've got a bit of definitely a defined trachea. I don't know if it's an Adam's apple, but we are seeing too much in the neck there. Tubular male body, not female at all. The pelvis is too narrow, the legs are too straight, the shoulders are too wide and square. Nothing female looking about this. Same here. I've pointed it out before, but the catwalk is where models will place one foot right in front of the other, which is typically how female legs will kind of go without even trying to do so. It's just kind of the way female hips move when walking. But MTF models and actresses will sometimes intentionally walk with one foot more in front of the other. And when they do that, it means that the legs that don't have any curve to them, the legs that are totally straight, like here, they appear to have more of a Q angle because the leg is being bent in order to place it farther over in front of the other. So when they do that, it makes it appear as if there's more of a curve to the leg only on one side, but it isn't actually a female Q angle. If you just look at the leg, you can see there's no actual female curvature going on there. This neck is looking incredibly thick. That is a very thick neck for a girl. He's got the room in the ribcage there, straight back all the way down until right at the male posterior. So does she. You can tell she's kind of arching the back out a bit here, which is a trick that MTFs will do quite frequently to make it look like they have a curve to the lower back. But it's arching out the back and the behind, and it's not as defined as it is on a girl. This photo's looking a bit staged anyway, so I don't know. She's got quite a pointy elbow here. Sometimes some of the MTFs they really won't work out, so they'll have the look of a young teenage boy that hasn't really got rid of the baby fat yet, and so they'll have a bit of softness in some places, but they won't have enough in the right places for being female. yeah, this person isn't really bony and really strong looking. Makes it a little bit more convincing, but the actual skeletal dimensions are not correct on this person. It does look like we've got a male digit ratio with the index just slightly shorter than the ring finger. Quite defined tendons to these pretty big hands. Those are actually quite large hands indeed. Very long looking face, wide mouth, wide set eyes. The eyes are also deep set. The gap between the nose and the mouth is quite long, quite a square looking chin. Looks like we've got a little bit of a dip here, so a very minor cleft, which is more common on males, not restricted to them, but more common. Strong square jaw, quite a large skull. You know, the shoulders don't look as wide in this shot as in some other shots, so it doesn't look as much like we could fit the 3 head widths on the shoulders here, but in other shots it looks different, so we'll just have to kind of make a median evaluation based on all of the pictures put together. It does look pretty bony in the shoulders, which you typically won't see on women, and this slight slope here could be just built up trapezius muscles. And this just isn't looking female to me. You know, the fingers look about the same length here, so to know about the digit ratio on this one. Hands are pretty big. Again, the eyes are fairly wide set. Brow ridge. Defined facial features, thin upper lip, wide dental arch. And here we're seeing it again, the ridging in here in the trachea, which is indicative of having too much male development. There's a lot of concentrated male energy in this picture. You know, the skull dimensions on both of these people is pretty much the same. So maybe it's a rule where the guys in the media will have to eventually take a transgendered MTF as a wife, or be involved with them in some way, or maybe they just like them, you know, I don't even know. Here it is arching the back, and you can see Victoria's Secret models and other people do this as well. But the thing is, the upper back is totally straight, so on females they tend to have more of a curve inward a little bit, and then outward as well, but this person is leaning forward and arching the back backward. On a female you just have this kind of arch just standing straight, but this person's body isn't quite right. Yeah, the legs are looking, I suppose, a bit more male than female. Again, pregnant with a completely defined jawline, no extra weight in the arms, no extra weight in the legs, no swelling anywhere, just completely lean except for right here. These muscular lean male legs, tubular male body. Look at that tracheal development. And here, we won't see it in other pictures, probably because they were intentionally staged and this one might not be. But there is definitely an Adonis belt here. Thick looking rib cage, muscular looking legs, defined knees. Not gonna look at the other people she's been with. Again, because I think these people sometimes are just paired with various types of people, so. Again, it does look like we might be seeing the top of the Adonis belt here as well. And typically on women you just won't see this, you won't see the rib cage like this. There's more subcutaneous fat on women, so you won't see ridges along the chest like this. The same way you do on these MTFs, especially the ones that don't really do much to build up muscle and try and keep themselves looking more kind of like a prepubescent boy. So, you know, the bony shoulders, the bony chest, wide rib cage, totally straight torso, slight bulge here, which I suppose is the oblique muscle, totally straight male legs, bony knees, long male arms. Crotch level goes across to the wrist level, which is a male arm length. Again, with that straight body, the shoulders, you can see here, shoulder bones are definitely at a wider point than where we've got the hip bones in the pelvis here. Narrow male pelvis, straight male legs. Again, with the long male arms, wide shoulders, big rib cage, totally male looking torso, just boxy and square. Thick male looking neck with built up trapezius muscles. Not a skeletal slope to the shoulders like on a female. 2 men running along with boxy male torsos and straight male legs and thick male necks. and big male skulls. Alright, so this is her post-pregnancy body, and this is her brother. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I definitely wouldn't feel comfortable wearing this kind of attire and doing all this weird posing with my brother. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like that's kind of weird. And if these people are comfortable continuing to live the transgendered deception that they were born into, and I do think that these people were innocent children born into these elite satanic bloodlines that committed the very evil child abuse of transgendering them against their will when they were too young to have any objections. So they are likely living with all kinds of emotional trauma, possibly other sexual abuse as well. The children were innocent children, and I feel very bad for them. Personally, I feel that once they do it to their own children, that there's not really a place for sympathy for them anymore, and I'll just leave it to God to decide what's going to happen with them. And I feel disappointed that they would continue that cycle of abuse to the next generation. But, you know, in any case, someone who has accepted being a transgendered person and living with that, and possibly is going to do that to the children that it has, well, had through a surrogate or adopted or whatever, because this person was not pregnant. Someone with that kind of mindset, I suppose it's not surprising that it would be okay and comfortable doing this kind of couples yoga with a brother. Personally, I feel like that's just a bit weird, and like normal siblings wouldn't want to be doing this together. But this is not a body that had a baby in it a few weeks ago. I've never had a child, but I have seen women who've been pregnant, and I have heard stories from women who've been pregnant about how long it took them to regain their body, and this MTF deception about regaining the baby body in a couple weeks or a couple months and looking exactly the same as they looked before, it's all about making women, it results in women starving themselves during pregnancy and doing dangerous workout routines that threaten the child because they are so concerned that they'll be considered lazy and undisciplined and unattractive if they look like they had a baby after they've had a baby. But, this straight male back, these lean male limbs, this big male rib cage, this is a man. This did not have a baby inside of it, because it's a man and it does not have a womb. It did not regain a pre-pregnancy body, it was just a man and remained a man. So these kinds of deceptions are very dangerous to females and to unborn children as well. And it also causes many women to resent their children for changing their body through pregnancy, or to just decide not to have children because they don't want to look unattractive. So it's all part of that satanic plot to cease human reproduction. Again, the straight male body lines, big male skull with strong features. Same here. I'm not sure why it's holding hands with Kristen Stewart, who is obviously another one. And this one is quite pitiable. It always looks very depressed. So, I've said before, I do feel sorry for these people, that this was done to them with no choice in the matter. They had that intrinsic right to be their gender, to be the correct gender, and live a life like that, taken away from them. And I firmly believe that was not their choice, and they were innocent children. But yeah, with Kristen Stewart, you can see the same thing with the wide shoulders, the narrow hips, straight legs, the wrist to crotch level being male, and he's been covered before, so this is just two MTFs together with male bodies. Very male-looking face, it's not right. Again, with the bony shoulders, the straight male torso. This one does appear to have something going on with the hands, some kind of discoloration, so I suppose that could be a sign of hormone abuse. Totally straight male legs again. Cinching in the waist and wearing a puffy dress will make it appear more like it has an hourglass figure, but we've seen plenty of photos of that body, and it does not have an hourglass figure. Here we go, Adonis belt, totally straight male torso, big male rib cage, boniness everywhere where there shouldn't be. Boniness if it's a girl. Don't let the bending of the leg fool you into thinking it's a female Q angle. it's not. You can see it's straight on the other side. And it does appear like there's a bit more of a hip here. Could just be the dress, but even if it wasn't, it's too low for a female. Everything is too low on this person. Torso is very long. Again, the digit ratio is a bit tough to work out, but I'd say it's probably about equal, the index and ring on this person. This rib cage is just looking enormous though, it's very large here. Again, the same strong male facial traits, both of these people, the gaps between features, the width of the features, the spacing of the features. Again, the tracheal development, strong facial structure. It's popping the hips out to the side, but totally straight on this side and still far narrower than the shoulders. Lean, muscular male legs. Again, with that discoloration, the lanky arms. Throwing the devil horns. I always say it. Maybe everyone in the film industry doesn't know about this. Maybe they're all part of the cult. I would say that, them throwing these hand signs doesn't mean they're transgendered. It could mean they're just worshipping the cult, or they think what the public thinks they mean, like rock on, peace, victory. But given this person's body, I feel like this could be construed to be meaningful. This picture's obviously been heavily photoshopped, so it appears like it's got more of a female figure here, but we've seen that it doesn't, and it's good to see that sometimes they do this to the body, but then when you look at the other photos they haven't done it to, you can see the deception. I guess this is a school shot. The wide mouth, the wide set male eyes. That is definitely a male rear, totally straight male torso and narrow hips. That is just a man. These two both have that kind of prepubescent boy look where they look kind of soft but thin, so they're not as suspicious as the really lean, toned MTFs, nor the really bulky ones. But you can see that the skeletal traits in the body shots are just not quite right. Totally straight male spine you can see here. Thin, long male arms. It's bony shoulders with a bit of a jutting part to the collarbone here. Totally straight male body again. Again with some weird discoloration. Really long arms. This person's bending back a little bit, but the back is totally straight all the way down until right where we've got the male posterior. At quite a low height with a long male torso. Strong male legs. Again with the straight back, the straight lean male legs. And here, Adonis belt. When it knows it's being photographed, it does seem to kind of arch the lower back a little bit and kind of tilt the pelvis. But it still just doesn't look right for a female, and the rear and the legs and everything just don't look right for a female. Big rib cage. And again, everything I was talking about. Surprising perks of a bump. Well, the public will probably believe you're female because you look like you've been pregnant. But not us, we know better. This person did not have a fit pregnancy. This person was just a man. I suppose we might be having a bit of one-eye symbolism here. Interesting quotation here. I suppose this is another one of those pregnant shots. Spidery long hands, the long lean arms. It really covered up here, so you can't really evaluate the body, but you can evaluate the face, and again, there's no fat around anywhere here. Again, this face is just chiseled and sharp, and that is not what you see on pregnant women. Again, with that back that's totally straight until right where you've got the male posterior, and again that Adonis belt, the big rib cage, the defined male knees, the bonier male ankles. The feet are actually looking quite large as well. Again, the straight male back right until the male posterior there. Bit of a strange looking figure. The arms are very long. So with this projected male energy and all of those bodily traits we've looked at, Nikki Reed is definitely a male to female transgender, and that's that.